you also have to do front end and back end at the same time. So that's why you need to do it in 3 days, 2 or 3 days at most, at least 2 days. I'm gonna share the screen here. Right. Haha. So first, open your backend and front-end applications, and this is it. I have backend, I have front-end, so I'm gonna open another tab, and it's cd to front-end, right? Code. This one I cd to backend and code. So now I have the back end as well as the front end. So this is where I stopped yesterday. I didn't have anything else. So I'm gonna start a server npm run dev. Okay, and this one npm start. For front end you run npm start. For back end you run npm run dev. And so now you can type your name, for example, Khoa, and I'll open my console to see do I have any error. No. So I'm gonna chat hello. Right, nothing wrong. Okay, so now I expect everyone is on the same page as me, right? Cool. And so what we're gonna do here is, if you take a look at the lab, we will have something, the database to store the user, right? If it, here's example chat, right there, and here we go. So we should see a list of the rooms on the left hand side, or wherever you want, as long as we can see a list of rooms, right? And then we click on the room name, meaning we join that room, and inside that room we see a bunch of messages, which is all of these data is stored in our database, right? So what do we need to store? We need to store the user, and then the rooms, right? The rooms, the users, and the chat message. These are the chat. The whole thing here is an object, right? This is a field inside the object. For example, created at, the whole thing here, created at, and here's the name of the user, and this is the text. Okay, so the whole line here belongs to one document, inside one document, and let's call that document a chat, right? So we're gonna need 3 models: room, user to store the username, as well as the chat model. So we need 3 models. Let's go and create those three models. If you take a look at the lab here, what is it here? So we need 3 models right here. So if you don't know how to define the models, you can take a look at the snapshot here. I have it here. Right. And let's go over on the user story first. The user, there should be a username for each user in order to use the app, right? A user should leave a list of pre-made chat rooms, or they can create the new chat room as well. It's okay. It's doable. So to keep it simple, we have a pre-made chat rooms. So for now, let's say we're gonna have these rooms. For example, these rooms. What is this? Okay, and then users should be able to join or enter any chat room by clicking on it, right? So I click on Firefox or Opera. I expect to join this room. Welcome to Opera. So user also be able to switch chat room at any time. I showed you already. And chat log should be clear upon entering a new chat room. This is the front end. This part, chat log should be clear. Front end part should be able to switch chat room at any time, front end or back end. Okay, this one is easy. I showed you already. So upon entering a new chat room, user should see. It doesn't matter. Like usually, you should see like 20 or 30 recently chat messages. So instead of showing everything, so all the messages belong to this chat room, I only show there's some bug for this app, for the final app. So you only show like 10 or 20 recent messages, right? You don't show all of them. And why is that? We learned that already. Why is that? Why do we only show 10 or 20 messages, recent messages, instead of showing all the messages? Why do we have to limit? It's just we don't want the user to wait like a minute to load all the chat, right? And they hardly want to see all the chat as well. They only want to see the recent ones. That's why we don't show all of them. Instead, we're going to show just about 20 or 30. Okay, and yes, this one is the most important feature. They should be able to chat with each other inside the rooms. And users see a system message or system messages notifying that whether a user enter or leave the room, right? So for example here, if I have another Windows, right? And let's say Lin is my brother name. So he's gonna join Chrome. Oh, now he see there's currently one user inside the Chrome room, and then when he join, there will be 2 people, right? And you see a message, welcome Lin to Chrome, and you also see Lin has joined the chat, something like this. So it's all about UX, user experience. Okay, users should be able to see how many people in each chat room. All right, I'll show you already. You see number 2 here. And UI UX, obviously you have to make it a little bit beautiful, like at least usable. Not this one. This one ugly. This is shit. If you show this app to other people, they will laugh at you, right? So these are the all the requirements that I have for you. You can think of more user story, like well, if you want to delete a chat message, or can you edit it, right? They are all doable, and I will leave that to you guys. Right, so now let's start. We're gonna define our database. So this is the front end. Let's forget it about now. Let's go to the back end side. So in order to create our database, we need to create a folder. Oh, not this, not here. Sorry. Here, create a folder. I'm gonna call it Shark, and inside Shark, I'm gonna create another folder called models, just like how we did before. Inside the model folder here, I'm gonna create a user model, right? Another one, chat model, and room model. Okay. The syntax is the same, nothing different. I'm gonna say mongoose equal to require mongoose, and here I had to stop my server to like, because we want to install mongoose. npm install mongoose. Okay, and then we define a schema called schema equal to new mongoose.schema, and here's a schema. For rooms, we want to have the room name and the list of the member inside that room, right? Name, just a string, okay. And then members. So members gonna be an array, and inside that array are a bunch of object ID. So we want member is an array. So basically this one is gonna be your referencing. You reference to the user object later. So each of them will be mongoose dot schema dot object ID. Right. So this is a type, a mongoose type, and it has to be unique. Right. We don't want to have two same person to be in the same room, right? To be in one room. Like it doesn't make sense to have two identical qua in the same room. So we also have ref to user. So the object ID here we will reference to the user model. That's sorry, I have forms. Hello. Hello. Holy shit. Right. Sorry about room name should be unique too. Yes, exactly. Oh my god. Thank you, Nguyen. Type string, right? And then we have unique. True. Actually, the name here, it's not the name. It's not that unique. You don't have to give it unique name here. Actually, we are not going to use a name here as the room name in socket, right? The name here, name in the model here, will be different from the name of channel, right? For the name of channel, we're going to use the ID here, the ID of this one, so we don't need the name to be unique. So we can have two rooms with the name Chrome, but they have different ID, and we're going to use an ID for the channel name. Okay, so actually we don't need this to be unique, but you can make it unique. It's okay, but I prefer not to make it unique, because we have the ID here, the ID for room. Right, so now we're gonna export it. Module.export export default, and export mongoose.model, and the name of the model, which is room, and then we have the schema. Okay, so that's it for rooms, and I'm gonna copy this one and move to user, for example. I don't want to type again. So for user, we also have the name, and the name will have trim true, and name has to be unique. This one has to be unique. Okay, and we don't have members, so I'm gonna delete member. But for user here, but for user we will have let's assume that for this app we only allow one user to be able to chat in one room at a time, meaning like they can only join one room at a time, right? So they cannot join another rooms unless they leave the current room. So we're gonna have something like this, and room we will reference to the room model, type mongoose schema, and then object ID. We reference to the room model, ref room, and is it required? Nah, it's not required. Okay, that's it. So if the user hasn't joined any room, the value here will be no. If he join a room, so you will have a room ID here, right? Cool. What else do we have here? We have the user and we have the room. I think that's it. And then I'm gonna copy this one for the chart here. And the chart here we will change a little bit. We change this one to user. Let's remove this. This one is going to be text. Okay. And text cannot be unique. Cool. And is it required? Yes. Require true. Right. You can have additional field, for example, created ad, updated ad, or whatever you can think of, right? So right now I'm gonna stick to the basic with the most fundamental fields. So we have text is the content of the chat, which is the chat message here, and we also have the rooms, meaning this chat belongs to which room, right? And also we're gonna have another one, user. So we know that this chat belongs to which user. So I'm going to change this one to user, and this one gonna require true. Require true. Right. Cool. Questions? Is that enough? Text, and then room, and then user. I think that's enough. Yeah. Right. Do you have any question up until now? Hello, line 23. Thank you. This is gonna be chat. Yep. So the room here will be the room that this chat belongs to, and we have to reference it to the room model as well. The same thing goes for the user, right? And let's take a look at the user model. We only have the name. We don't need the password. For now, let's forget all about the authentication. Focus on the main point of this app, right? So we need the name of the user, and I want that user to be unique, so I have unique here. And I don't want the space in front of at the end of the name, so I use trim. And also room here is like telling you this user is like in which room, right? In which room. And that's it. I'm gonna save. And it's like to be more precise, this field means like telling us this user is subscribing to which rooms, right? So this one can be an array. If you want the user to be able to join multiple rooms, this one should be an array. But for now, we are gonna make it simple, just one room, okay? So we have user, we have chat, we have rooms, and that's it, I think. Cool. So now we need to connect the application to the database. So go back into what is a child parent relationship for the E3 model? Actually, you don't have to. There's not really. When we talk about child or parent relationship, let's say the user usually is the parent, because if you want to chat, you need to be a user first, right? The user will be the parent, and the rooms as well as the room doesn't have a room also a parent by itself, right? So the chat will be the children of user and room, right? Set the child, user and room, and here they don't have the like direct relationship at all, user and room. Like it can be null here, the value here can be null, so that means that there's no like parent and child relationship between user and room at all. And for the members here in the rooms as well, it's the same. Like they can either cross or not. They can either cross or not. So there's no direct relationship at all. Sometimes you have to like there's not clear relationship between the two. Yeah. Okay. So what else do I miss? No. So here we need to define the URL to our database. So I'm gonna say db equal MongoDB. This is the URL. You already know how to do this a couple of times. Localhost. This is default port number for MongoDB server, and let's say test chat. You can name anything you want. This is the name of the database, so you can name anything you want. So I'm gonna call it test chat, save it, and then go inside your app.js, not server.js. And inside here you have to create the connection between your app and the server and the database server. So where should I put it? Usually you can put it right here, it doesn't matter, but you have to import mongoose, cons mongoose equal require mongoose, right? And then you do something. There's a syntax to connect, I forgot. So I have a cheat sheet here. It's not really cheat sheet, it's, oh shit, it's not updated. So guys, the learning portal is not updated, so I'm gonna copy a different one. So here we go. I have prepared the sheet here. Go back to the code, so you can do like this. Mongoose connect to the database with the same configs we had before, right? So now I will let me show you another version of this one. Just hang on. I'm gonna create a new one. Just GitHub, and I will send you guys this link. Okay, I'm gonna call it 10 9 0 9 4 Gray public GS. So the content on GitHub is different from compared to the content here. The server doesn't reload, so I have to create a new one for you. I'm gonna copy this one and put it on Discord. So click use this link. Okay, use that. Okay, so I'm gonna close this one and focus on this one. So we've done A, B, and C, I suppose. Okay, so now Mython true. Wait, let's test our database first. Let's test it first. So I'm gonna start npm run dev. Okay, seems okay. Open your compass and check your database. I actually had a test chart earlier, so I'm gonna delete it. Drop it. Okay. So now when you run the server, you will not see anything yet. You will not see any database yet because you haven't write any data into your database, and Mongo is smart enough not to create a database for you. Then you have to test. I'm gonna create a list of the rooms. For example, here let's take a look at this example here. I'm gonna create the list of the rooms first, right? Predefine the rooms, and let's go back to our code. Inside the app.js, I'm gonna create another route just to create the list of the rooms, and that's actually so easy that I actually copy and paste here for you guys already. So let's roll out, and actually this, so you're gonna define a route, and that route will create all the rooms for you, right? So I'm gonna call it create room, right? And app use router, you don't need this. Okay, and yeah, so you import room from the models, and this one it should be shocks, and then models, shocks, and then models, and then room. Okay, and when I call this route, I expect it to create rooms for me, and I have 1 2 3 4 5 rooms here, right? Let's test it. Localhost 5000, create rooms. There's some error here. I don't know why it's sometimes it say duplicate error, but actually there should not be any duplication. I tried this one 2 times before, and it happened a couple of times, but it's gone when I retry. So if you refresh your database and test chat, you see I have 1 rooms here, and that room is, there's no name for that room, so I'm gonna change this one. I think we call it name here. Oh shit, we call it name here. Let's change this one to name. Okay, and then save it, and then I'm gonna drop this rooms, and see, same thing. I have something called duplicate, but there should not be any duplication at all. So there's a duplication in the member, I don't know why, but let's try it. Test. Alright, we delete the test. Let's start again, and then call this route. Same error, but I don't think this one belong. This error is in my code. I try to do this a couple of times and it works. Now it works. I don't know why. So now it works. So now I can create all the rooms here. Okay, create all rooms, 5 rooms, and with the ID. So sometimes it throws error, but actually it's not error, and you have to try a couple of times in order to make it work. I still hasn't figured out what the hell happened there. But whatever, now if you're done with this, you can delete the this route here. You don't need it anymore. You can delete it or just comment out. That's gonna be okay. That's done. We successfully create a list of the rooms, right? So any question? Oh shit, it's past 30. Any questions yet? So instead of create one by one inside my document, inside my database, I don't want to do it manually like that. I want to create a route, and it will insert a couple of rooms for me. You need to connect to the database before create rooms, right? Yes. So you need to do this. You need to do this inside your server.js. Here, this is how we connect the app to database. Okay. So we have done setting up the models as well as adding the rooms. Yeah. So I'm gonna end it here for like, how long do you want me to break? 5 or 10 minutes? Can you end it here? 5 or 10 minutes? All right. When? How long? What do you mean send it here? End it here, right? Oh, why don't you go back and look at your own code, right? I had to go back to my own code and yeah, just go back to your own code. Make a habit of copying the code from your old project. It's very good. Make that as a habit, right? Do you have then try and catch? Yeah, I do. I do have try and catch. What's wrong with that? Huh? In mongoose? Nah. I just connect. I don't. Basically, this is the basic one. I don't want to like handle all the errors because it's not important in this project. In Compat, I can see chat DB and rooms collection, but no rooms. Am I missing something? You only see the collections only when you create some data in there, right? Only when you create some data. For example, I don't see, if I open my Compass here, I don't see any other collection. I only see the rooms because only the rooms collection has the data in there, right? If you don't see any rooms, you have to, jurist, you have to like create this route and then create one by run the route. How did you get the room info here? I run this. Or you can create by hand manually. Do you see the message? Okay. Do you see the message here when you call the route? Do you see this? If you don't see it, that means something wrong, right? I had a problem too, and you have to go into your database, drop this collection, and try a couple of times, as well as remember to change this one to name, because my code was room, and here I use name here, so that's why I need to change this one to name. Right. I don't expect you guys to like call along with me and then I have to answer all the error. That's gonna take a lot of time though. So server.js, what is that, Emily? Do you do mongoose.connect in app or server? Yes, I do. Here. If you want it, I'm gonna paste here. Right. So in order to call this, you need the DB variable in your inv, right? Joris, try this route a couple of times, right? If it doesn't work, meaning you don't see the text okay, you have to go into your database, here, drop the collections, and try again. Refresh the browser again until you see the okay text. Right. I don't know why it happens, and it happened to me every time I do this. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. No. And I didn't try to figure out anyway. It's not a big deal. Right, so let's take 10 minutes so that you can recap everything. You can alright, I'm gonna stop here if you don't have any questions.